Can you beat Chapter 1 of Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon on the hardest difficulty with only Draug, or Draug, or Doga, however you say his name? Well, let's find out. This is the point of the video where I'll put up his growth rates. You'll notice they're not very typical for a armor knight, at least what our standards are in this day and age. He doesn't really have a strength growth, which is a little awkward. And oddly enough, his speed is better than his defense, which, you know, also doesn't really make much sense. Now, as far as him actually soloing the map, it's very dependent on a few factors. Number one, it's dependent on Shida flying around and distracting all of these enemies whose AR are set to move on turn 1. And it's also dependent on him getting good levels, which, I mean, that speed normally is good, but for this map, it actually doesn't really matter too much until the end. We really want him to get strength and defense. Those are really big for killing the enemies on this map. But yeah, we're gonna systematically bait out these pirates while Shida distracts them. Now there's a little bit of RNG to how these guys move. It's very possible for them to move in a way that just completely blocks Shida in a manner that is, you know, very awkward, and just has there be no real way to bait them without them all just charging you. But yeah, thankfully we're able to bait them out one by one and just kind of pick them off at our own leisure, which is good. It definitely gets easier the less of them there are. The MVP for this map is definitely not Draug, it's definitely Shida, for just being able to actually move on water, unlike any other playable unit at this point. One thing we do have to be mindful of, there's one pirate on the left side of the map with weird movement. Also, nice level Draug. Very nice. Very cool. I think he'll move towards you if you're within two turns of movement of him. So if you move a little too far to the left, you'll bait him out, which is pretty awkward. But besides that, I mean, as long as you get good, you know, good RNG on how the pirates move, it's very feasible to just distract them indefinitely with Shida. Yeah, something kind of awkward is if Draug doesn't get any strength levels, he kind of has to rely on the Javelin to 3-round the enemies. The Javelin has terrible hit rates. People talk about Shadow Dragon as a game that, like, oh yeah, you always hit things. Like, hit rate shouldn't even be a thing, so you always hit things. Not really the case when you're at weapon triangle disadvantage with, like, 3 base skill. Draug. Yeah, that's always fun. Here we get another speed level, which we do need speed. And at this point in the map, we don't really need good level ups, because we're at the point where there's so few enemies that are actively charging us that we can just bait them out one by one, which is nice. It's really just the first probably 5 turns that are just very critical. And I feel like this attempt goes to show that even if your Draug doesn't get ideal levels for taking multiple enemies, I mean, you can still clear the map with only using him, which is very interesting, because I feel like Shadow Dragons, at least on Hard 5, is known for having a crazy, challenging early game. The first 3 chapters are very notorious. And for good reason, I think. But I think a large part of that is due to the fact that the bosses on these first 3 chapters, also nice Draug, very good. The bosses on these first 3 chapters have ludicrous stats. Like, they just outstat the playable units to such a large degree that killing them is unfeasible, because they'll one-round you. And that is a problem that we will be facing very shortly here, once we're done just baiting out all these enemies. I'm also very surprised that we're able to keep literally every playable unit alive this attempt. This is actually the first attempt I've had of this challenge run where nobody's died. I mean, it was almost certainly due to good RNG on how the charging pirates move towards Sheeta, because I'll admit, most of the time they do end up getting Sheeta killed. Yeah, this attempt has been... it was very clean. I will say that much. Also, nice level Draug. You definitely don't need strength. No, just don't level that. He's gotten 2 level ups in defense so far, none in strength. And I mean, strength is his weakest stat at 20%. Well, unless you're counting resin magic, which you really shouldn't be in this game. But yeah, he is, I feel like there's already some foreshadowing here that he's very atypical statistically. Oh, and speaking of atypical, welcome to how we have to beat this map. Because Draug gets one-rounded by Gazak in 1 range, which means our only option for taking him down is to throw javelins. I'll let you guess how many turns this is going to take, but this is the point in the video where I'm probably going to put on some, I don't know, some epic Doom-like music. And we're just going to have a montage of next couple 100 turns where Draug throws a javelin, so enjoy that, I suppose. sure was fun. I honestly don't know how Draug ended up leveling speed so little in 14 level ups, but it is what it is, right? It is what it is. Also ignore that. I accidentally clicked my news tab. But it's okay. I censored out where I live, so you won't be able to dox me, fortunately. Yes, it only took 14 level ups and 347 turns for us to beat Chapter 1 with only Draug. Wow. That sure was fun. I can't wait to deal with Gomer and Hyman. I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun as well. The Day of Reckoning is coming. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.